Hello, I'm Adam Westbrook from this blog right here, and believe it or not, 2011 is already upon us, which means it's time for another look at what lies in store for the year ahead. Now, I did this time last year as well, and loads of you watched, so thank you very much for that. But how well did I actually do? Let's take a look. Well, first of all, I've got no idea what's going on with that hair either. But in terms of the predictions, well, I got some of the easy ones right.
Number one, we're going to see lots and lots of new news startups. The battle of the smartphones continue.
But I did less well on some of the others.
Augmented reality. The demand for really high quality content. The year of the hyperlocal.
Well, this time I'm determined to do a better job, so as well as mooting a few of my own suggestions, I've also roped in some of the brightest young minds in journalism today to share their ideas. And stick around, because the 11th prediction this year, because it is 2011 after all, will come from one of you guys, the lovely readers on the blog. Right, let's get to it. And my first big prediction for 2011 is that online video is going to be huge. It's been a long time coming, but I think this will be the year newspapers and magazines finally really embrace online video. In 2010, I worked with NGOs and charities and startups who were all diving headfirst into the world of online video. I think it's about time that journalists followed suit. Now, next up, paywalls. Obviously big news in 2010, and there are more on the way in 2011. But this year I'm predicting innovation in how we pay for content. Whether it's a universal one-click system or even Facebook credits, there could be a much needed breakthrough in this area this year. Right, we're on to number 3 now, and with her prediction for 2011, here's Tracy Boyer, the editor at the excellent innovative interactivity.com.
My recommendation for this year is geolocation. I really think that news organizations can be doing a much better job teaming with advertisers to deliver relevant content to users' mobile devices. This can be anything from coupons to local restaurants or stores in the area, or just delivering news events such as concerts in the area, local garage sales that might be going on that people don't know of. Let's focus on hyper-local content relevant to specific geographic locations.
Thanks very much, Tracy. Right, so on to number 4 now, and if there's one thing journalists need to develop in 2011, it's new ways to deal with data. 2010 saw WikiLeaks unleash untold quantities of the stuff, and journalists need to find people with the skills to interrogate this data and turn it into something useful. Okay, we're almost halfway there now, and I think 2011 will see the arrival of the next generation correspondent on the scene. 2010 ended with a Reuters Institute report proclaiming the death of the foreign correspondent as we know it, but in their place we'll start to see independent digital freelancers creating and editing their own online products. It's already being done in places like Mexico and Rwanda, and we'll start to see more people follow suit this year. Right, here comes number 6, and with his prediction for next year, here's editor of the hyperlocal Lichfield blog, Philip John.
My journalism prediction for 2011 is that grassroots hyperlocals will finally find that sustainable business model they're all looking for. They'll do so through a networked model using multiple revenue streams.
Cheers, Phil. Right, what are we on to now? Number 7, and slightly off-piste perhaps, but I think 2011 will be the year that ebooks go mainstream. People are slowly starting to get over their apprehension of paying for PDF files online, and products like the iPad and the Kindle have helped ebook sales skyrocket to a massive $120 million in the last quarter of last year alone. So I think self-publishing is going to be a big trend next year, and the question is, if you're not getting in on the action, why not? Right, we're up to number 8 already, and from Not on the Wires, here's Alex Wood with his prediction for the year ahead.
My prediction for 2011 is quite simple. I think that niche is going to become mainstream. And by that I mean that we're going to see a lot more online magazines, a lot more startups actually becoming more mainstream for the news consumer. I think a lot of this is going to be a result of the political polarisation going on in places like in Europe, where we've got a lot of people against some of the things like cuts and a lot of people on very different sides of the political spectrum. And what's happening is more and more people are now looking for an alternative news view and actually looking somewhere else other than the mainstream.
Alex, thank you very much. And right off the back, here's the editor of themediabriefing.com, Patrick Smith.
My prediction for 2011 is that social TV is going to be bigger than ever. People are going to watch TV more than they ever have. The growth won't slow, it will actually accelerate. And while people are watching, they're going to be interacting with each other using online tools and services.
Patrick, thank you very much. Okay, we're on to the home run now. And on a similar theme, my final prediction for 2011 is that news goes social. The big problem with this wonderful Web 2.0 world is that there's just too much of everything. So next year, people will start to curate their own news by themselves. Startups like Storify are already making this a reality, but there's much innovation to be done in 2011. Okay, so here we are then at the end, but before we go, there's just time for one final prediction from you guys. At the end of last year, I asked you to leave your suggestions for what you thought would be the big trends in journalism in 2011. Loads of you left comments, so thank you so much for that. The one I've chosen has come from Catherine Sladden, who writes that in 2011, NGOs will become publishers. She predicts the first Oxfam news website or iPhone app and says 2010 has proven non-profits working with journalists can provide authentic content. Don't forget you can keep up to date with all the latest trends in online video, entrepreneurship and journalism over at my blog. It's at adamwestbrook.wordpress.com. Don't forget to leave some comments as well and tell me what you think the big trends for 2011 are going to be. That's it from me. Thanks so much for watching and I hope you have an awesome new year.